What's up, everybody? I'm LeBlanc.
I'm OC.
Time for another adventure.
Say you want smoke, you can drop the address. I'm a stone cold killer, I'ma do so on my chest. 50 cal deagle bullet shooting through the vest. Hope the morgue got a mop, cause I'm finna leave a mess.
Alright, so as you guys could probably already see down below, which we can't because we just started filming. As you guys can see down below, it's going to be a long episode today because we're talking conspiracy theories.
Boom.
I think it only makes sense since we're talking conspiracy theories. It's nighttime. Light that shit.
So Area 51, what do you think is out there?
Something. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say something's out there.
I think there could be aliens out there, some sort of alien craft or technology.
There's something there. Whether it's extraterrestrial or not, there's something there. Maybe they're I know there's something there. There's something there. There's something there. Now, if you want to ask me what I hope is there, I hope Bob Lazar was right.
Yeah.
I hope Bob Lazar is telling the truth. And everything I've seen of him, I believe him. Do you?
I only see, he was on Joe Rogan, right? Yeah, I only see that.
That's where I was introduced to him.
Yeah, that's really all I seen him in.
I watched his
He
documentary.
said he worked at one of the...
So the reason he was on Joe Rogan, is because of his documentary.
Yeah.
He was on Joe Rogan with the guy who made the documentary for him or with him. I don't remember whose idea it was, but I hope Bob Lazar was right. I hope that we're trying to reverse engineer extraterrestrial craft that we have. That would be dope. Because what Bob Lazar said was like they had this orb, similar to how two magnets that repel each other. He was saying they had a machine that did the same but with gravity. Just like your hand, you could not get close to it because it would give you the same resistance as two like same pole magnets give you. It's same pole that right? It's opposites attract and then the same repel. Yeah, so. And that's crazy. And that also, they believe that has something to do with it. But what he said is, they're so smart about it, is no one's ever knowing everything.
Also, it could just be a test site like they say it is for the military. It honestly could be.
There's something there.
Could just be a base.
It's not nothing. Another conspiracy theory is, and just wait, you guys. We're gonna get, right now, we're just getting off the light ones. We got some research that's deep for today's episode. Don't you worry. We're getting off the light ones real quick.
We got into it.
We dove deep. Another conspiracy theory I want to get into, though, the flat Earth theory.
Shout out Kyrie.
Shout out to Kyrie Irving. No, he redacted, right? He's.
I have no fucking clue.
No, I'm pretty sure Kyrie redacted and said like he was bugging on that. I hope, because he was dumb as shit for that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
Kyrie, I respect you.
Crazy shit.
I do respect you, Kyrie, even though you kind of did Boston dirty.
Crazy talent.
Very talented man. Very wise man, but that was some dumbass shit you said when you thought the Earth was flat.
But who isn't?
Because, alright, you know what? I was talking to him earlier, and, cut back in, just so I'm bumping these. Fuck the continuity. And I said to him, you know what? We are gonna have to mention this flat Earth theory, because we're talking conspiracies, that's one of the popular ones, but we can just disband this whole flat Earth theory with one picture, and I'm gonna put it right here, it'll be right here. The Flat Earth Society themselves, their verified Twitter page, tweeted, "We have members of the Flat Earth Society all around the globe."
Around the globe. Globe.
So that's enough with that one. On to my boy Neil deGrasse Tyson, because y'all know I love him. The simulation theory. Alright, just off the rip, first thoughts, simulation theory. For those of you who don't know, that is the theory that we are all living in a simulation.
I don't know, we was talking about it the other day. I think it's like, was it Neil deGrasse Tyson where he was like...
My favorite person, one of my favorite people in the world.
Either we're the first simulation or we're the last, and we just haven't figured out how to continue that on.
To have a universe that is truly simulated, that the characters within the universe have to have free will. If they have free will, what is stopping them from then creating computers in their universe and then creating simulations in their universe? And again, I'm taking these words from Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I comprehend them.
Somewhat.
Like he said, if you have a prime universe, the prime universe that would have started the first simulation, that would have then broken down into the chain. And he says, if you just pick from random out of all the infinite universes, the likelihood you pick the prime one is pretty fucking small. So the likelihood that we would be the prime one is small, just out of basic probability. But that's where he comes in, with what you were mentioning. That's where he comes in and talks about us being the last, because we have not developed technology with simulated characters who have free will.
Although, someone who used to work for Google say they got some sort of
The AI to have its own thoughts.
Its own thoughts. Yeah.
It was what's the word? Like sentient? I think that's the word. I don't know. I'll probably correct it right now.
Something like that.
Like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, it is impossible for us to know if we are in a simulation. And if we did somehow know with 100% certainty that we were in a simulation, there's absolutely nothing we could ever do about it.
Or there is no simulation.
Or there is no simulation and we're just real. Which I don't know, I like to believe. I mean, I feel pretty real. And the fact that, why I think we're real? Cartoons. Hear me out. We have cartoons, right? Animated universes don't have cartoons. Think about it. Think about if you're watching, like from last episode, Fairly Odd Parents. If Timmy Turner's watching the TV, the people on the TV he's watching are in the same exact animation style as him. So he's seeing them the same he would see himself in the mirror. So like that's just like there's no like essentially the closest thing I've ever seen to a cartoon within a cartoon is when SpongeBob was taking care of Squidward when Squidward was sick and he had the drawings on the TV with the cutout.
Oh yeah.
That's the closest thing I've ever seen to a cartoon within a cartoon. And feel free to, in the comments, get down below in the comments if you've seen a cartoon within a cartoon that's in a different animation style than the cartoon.
What we got?
Alright, so we got the big three coming up. We got 3 remaining conspiracy theories that we are going to talk about in today's episode. These are the ones we put a lot of research into, and these are like 3 very popular ones. So the first one we're going to get into, you can't see it right now, the moon landing, duh. We're going to just start off with what we think, because we already did our research, so we got our notes, so that doesn't matter. What do you think?
I think it's real. 100%.
Okay, I also believe that we 100% landed on the moon. And when I say we, I don't mean me and this dickhead. I mean us as a country, NASA, the great scientists, the powerful minds over at NASA. I do believe we truly landed on the moon.
Yeah, like the people who said it's fake, if you look at it, some people say the lighting being off and stuff like that.
Okay, so with the lighting, I got a bone to pick because it is pretty basic. I feel it's pretty basic. I got research done, and I got a name here to back me up who has actual study and credibility. But just, alright, so when you go the photos and the videos, you see the shadows from the flagpole or the astronauts themselves or the spaceship. All the shadows are running in parallel with each other. That only happens when you have a light source that's very far away, as in millions and millions and millions and millions of miles away. If you were in a soundstage, in a studio, like some people suggest, because that's what they're saying when they say we faked it, where they're saying we did it in like a movie studio type deal, those studio lightings aren't going to cast the same shadow because they're coming from different angles. Like I said, you don't have to take my word for it, okay? There is a man named, and I'm looking down at my phone so I get this right, alright? I don't want y'all bashing me in the comments for looking at my phone. I want to make sure I get this 100% right. There's a man named Mark Shubin. He's a video forensics analyst, and he was on the show Adam Ruins Everything. I don't remember what network that show's from, but he said the same things I'm saying. He's saying the light source would have to be so far away to get parallel lines, because when you have the light close, it goes differently. You've seen it, right? You know what I'm talking about. Back me up here.
Yeah.
You never seen yourself have two shadow light, or like if there's a weird lighting, like if you're outside a nightclub, that's a better idea. That's a better one, because if you're outside a nightclub and they got lights all along the awning, right? You got one light here, similar to studio lighting in a movie, because they got lights all over pointing at it to get the best lighting possible. You got all the lights from different angles. That's going to give a shadow going this way, a shadow going this way. It might hit this object from this angle, but it's closer to this object, so it's going to go that way. But the object back here, the shadow's going to go that way. They wouldn't be parallel. The only reason they're parallel is because the light source is so far away. Now, what they also said in this show, Adam Ruins Everything, is that to do that, the technology we would have needed is basically lasers, like more or less laser pointers. But back then, when we landed on the moon, they didn't have like the type of lasers you would have needed. The type of lasers you would have needed back then were big as shit. They were like 3 feet long and looked like the torpedoes that blew off Kim Jong-un's face in the movie with Seth, The Interview. Yeah, they're big as shit. So and not only that, you would need millions of them on like a wall type of deal to get that. And not only that, it gets deeper. At the time, the lasers, being as big as they are, that were readily available at the time, were in red. Okay? And that would have made the color photos from the moon impossible. They wouldn't have been able to do it if the lights were red. They wouldn't have been able to get color photos. What I'm getting at is, it would have been harder. I can't even say it would have been harder. It would have been impossible to fake the moon landing. I'm saying that straight up. You can say it's impossible to land on the moon. I'm telling you, no. We did, and it's impossible to fake it. At the time. Now we could.
Another thing that people say is that when, like, they talk about why did the flag move, the thing that I watched today, they were talking about when they planted the flag, they couldn't get it directly into the moon's soil or whatever it is, so they had to twist it, and like the way that the gravity works on the moon, it kind of swung like a pendulum.
Because of inertia, right?
Continue to swing because of the way that
objects in motion stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. There's no air, so there's no friction. So it wouldn't, that makes sense to me. I never knew that, but that makes sense to me.
They had to twist it to get it all the way into the surface.
Okay, so this gets deeper though, because aside from all of that, at the time we landed on the moon, we were in a space race with Russia. They were trying to get to the moon before us, we were trying to get to the moon before them.
A lot of people are trying to get to the moon at that point.
And you know who the only people in this world who say that we faked the moon landing are? Other Americans.
Yeah, not even the Russians. You'd think they would.
You would think they would, being that they hated us at the time, Cold War and all, space race, being live, and we won. You don't think they would be like, yeah, they faked that shit? They had every reason to say that shit, and they gave us our dub.
100%.
Also, there's not to forget that other countries around the world, countries that have absolutely no reason to lie for us, and don't let me forget about lying, because I'm going to get back to the lies part, but other countries that have no reason to lie for us have said they picked up our transmission from when we sent, obviously, the live video back, or whatever, back from the moon, back to NASA. Other countries picked up the transmissions, the videos. So, why would they lie for us?
Yeah, no reason.
They have no reason. But getting back to the lies, I believe there was some, like, just under 500,000 NASA employees around the time of the moon landing. And no, alright, excuse me, let me rephrase that. There was about just under 500,000 people that were working on the moon project, getting the man on the moon. All of them would have had to keep a secret. Not one person out of just under 500,000.
Not even the lowest on the totem pole. Just
not even some dude who boss forgot his birthday.
Got fired for some weird reason.
Boss caught him jerking off in the fucking company bathroom.
Oh, you hear about the Chicago Zamboni driver, the Blackhawks guy? He worked for the Blackhawks as a Zamboni driver for like, I don't even know, a very long time, way back in the day. and someone caught him like peeing in like a drain off like in a private area where no one's really usually is, and they canned him, and people were outraged by it.
Oh, like when Justin Bieber got caught pissing in the mop bucket at the club?
I don't know about that shit, but
I'm putting the video in. But anyway,
Crazy
back to the
shit.
moon landing. There's no way that 500,000 people are keeping up that lie. Well, under 500,000, probably like 400,000 or something. I don't remember. Also, I don't really usually hear this argument much, but this, if anyone wants to make that argument, the CGI at the time was nowhere near good enough to fake
Not
the moon
even
landing.
close.
Not even close.
we should roll it.
I'll go grab it. If I'm rolling, I'm rolling. I'm rolling a spliff. I'm rolling a spliff. Oh, can you go get me a Pepsi out the fridge? Since I just sat down. Rolling up another one. Another cigarette. Just a cigarette, it's just tobacco. While we're on this little intermission roll-up break, I guess it's a great time to talk about today's sponsor. Unc Dange, who is a very dear friend of mine, my baby boy. This week's sponsor is Majestic. Now this right here is a very personal brand to me because this is Unc Dange's brand. Him and his wife Pretty Jones. This is their brand, their clothing brand. This shit right here, they gave this to me when we were in New York City. This was the first one of this design. They gave it to me. You know, we have a nice photo shoot. Bam, right there. But yeah, Majestic Clothing. I'm gonna put the Instagram right here, the way you can contact to get Majestic Clothing. They got some dope designs. They keep it simple but dope. I mean, they don't go too crazy. They don't go too
Logo's
simple.
pretty fire, too.
The logo is fire. This is the classic logo. The M with the I think it's supposed to be a mountain or something. I don't know, a triangle, I guess. And the Majestic underneath. But this right here, this is my favorite logo they got. And I'm glad, that's why I'm glad I got the first one of this design, because that meant a lot to me. Because this was like, when Unc Dange sent me the picture of this design back before this came out, I already knew I loved it. And I was like, I need one of them. So when we were on tour, and I think it was our second stop was in New York City, and we were staying, the show was in Long Island. And but we stayed in Manhattan, right off of Times Square. And yeah, right before we went out to do our thing, we were doing some photo shoots. We had a day planned of locations to do some photo shoots. And as we were getting our outfits together, they brought it out. They got us gave us each member of Dope World some Majestic gear to go rock. And yeah, it was dope. This is one of my favorite Majestic designs. Unc Dange, you motherfucker. You told me not to tell anyone. I'm not going to tell anyone, but I'm probably going to tell everyone. I'm not going to post a pic. I'm not going to show anyone. But I'm going to tell them, you just sent me a design that I already told you I need ASAP. When y'all see this design, y'all going to lose your mind like I did. I'm not going to spoil nothing. I'm not spoiling nothing. I'm not showing no pictures. I'm not giving no hints. All I'm going to say is you're going to lose your mind when you see this. But alright, that's enough from our sponsor. Let's get right back into the conspiracy theories.
So there's a lot of conspiracy around the JFK assassination, and just his whole family in general.
Yes, but I think today we should just get into the assassination, because that's all I did research on.
That's it.
What
do you think?
So I think I don't know. Off rip, I'm going to say I don't know. I just think it's very hard to believe that it was just Lee Harvey Oswald that did it. Like, there's so much evidence against it that there was some involvement from, most likely, I can't say it because I live here. It seems like there might have been some involvement from no comment. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, the whole thing's kind of sketchy. I mean, they couldn't find the bullet for a little bit after.
And then the magic bullet.
Yeah, the magic
They lost the bullet,
They
and then
lost
the magic bullet.
Bullet comes up and it's just perfect.
And where?
Oh, right on the hospital bed.
So
They said it fell out of one of the guy's coats. Who was it? The governor?
yeah, I don't know if he was the governor. Conley, right?
Yeah, Texas Governor Joe Conley. because he got hit as well with the same bullet. And if it went through him, you would have think it would have had some sort of markings on it the first time, and then it hit JFK.
Like, it really just look. I've seen the pictures. I'm gonna try.
Like, obviously there was multiple shots fired, but it's kind of
The bullet is fault. Like, if it had a shell kit, like it looks like, I don't know how to explain it. It looks like a perfect bullet with no shell casing.
exactly.
But that leads to so many questions. Like, why? I mean, we talked about this earlier too. I do believe that JFK was our best president of the United States. In terms of what he wanted to, like, what he was doing, what he was trying to do, what he spoke for and believed in.
And he was from here, so
That helps. Hometown bias.
yeah,
But
exactly.
if I'm going to put any other president up there, it's going to be Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, he did some
Honest
pretty big
day.
things.
Also want to give a shout out to the Super Carlin brothers because they have a whole fucking thing in their podcast, Popcorn Culture, where they talk about Abraham Lincoln. There have been multiple times on their podcast where they will just say some outrageous stuff about Abraham Lincoln. After they record the episode, they'll go home and like Google it and find out that that Abraham Lincoln actually had some involvement with that stuff, and it's weird. But shout out to Abraham Lincoln, which is a weird thing to say. Sorry. But he was, I mean, come on now. I mean, we know what he did. And he's forever goated for that. And look at that. You know what I didn't even realize until I just said it? My top 2 picks for the best presidents that we've ever had in the history of the United States of America are the only 2 presidents who've been assassinated.
That's wild.
Think about that.
Only 2.
And we want to talk about conspiracy theories.
That's
I'm not accusing no one of nothing. I'm just saying it's suspicious. At
Very,
best.
very
Suspicious at best. See, I'm not too well educated on the rest of the topic, but all I know is like there's that Family Guy. There's this part of Family Guy. It's a cutaway where Stewie says something like, I think it's Stewie's like something about a Kennedy family reunion, and it cuts to it, and it's like there's just like one dude there, and then like I'm pretty sure he like gets shot or like dodges a bullet, like a lot of Kennedys.
That's another thing. A few months after, I forget how long it was after, is
Like, are the
JFK's
Kennedys
brother.
just that goated as a family? Like, what's the deal there?
Couple weeks or months, I don't know how long it was, after JFK was assassinated, his brother tried to run for president, and he was assassinated as well. Point blank, someone just walked up and shot him
Click, clack, bow.
in front of a whole bunch of people.
I mean, I know I said it already, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but, like, are the Kennedys just that goated as a family where people are just trying to take them out because of... that? Like, because I truly believe that in this world, being evil is the best way to make the most money. And I'll never stoop to that. I don't care. I do not care. I don't want the
That's
money.
a fact.
But it's true. I really think that being evil is the best way to make the most money in this world.
Yeah, basically just not give a shit about anyone else.
And so with the Kennedys all trying to do, I mean, similar, I would assume if they're a family, like, knowing what I know about JFK, I don't assume that the rest of his family members that got, killed had beliefs that were too far off, maybe differing somewhat, but not that different, I can't imagine. So it just, like, are they, like, it really just seems like they're just that goated that people just want to take them out because... What does it seem like to you? Am I wrong?
No, they kind of...
Now, with that being said, though, that is what I'm saying, because I don't want anyone to think I'm just saying, oh, it was the U.S. government, it was the FBI, it was this people, it was that people. That's what I'm saying. The door is open. The door is open. It could have been for political gain, it could have been for business gain, it could have been for anything, because these presidents are not just presidents. If that makes any sense.
Theory, but some also thought that there was connections to like the Irish mafia and stuff like that, but them to be connected.
I don't remember
for that
sending
really.
anybody.
That ain't how they would do it.
I'm just kidding. I'm not of the Irish mob.
Clear that up real quick.
All right, do you have anything else to any final thoughts about the JFK, or are you ready to get into
Just
the
the missing bullet theory, where there was 3 shots fired. One, like we said, hit the governor, and then hit JFK, and then the other one, of course, as we all know, hit JFK right in the head. But where did the other bullet go? Supposedly he missed, and it just hit the asphalt and exploded. What do you think?
I think the babushka lady had something to do with it. The babushka lady
could
did
never
it.
find it.
I'm just kidding. The babushka lady, yo.
That's crazy. She knows something. She
The
was recorded
babushka
for
lady
some
knows
reason.
something. She has the video.
I know, sorry.
I read something that she don't. She was approached by 2 people saying they were from like the CIA, the FBI, and they said that they would give the film back to her, and she never heard from them again. She never got the film back, and she said she never wanted to reach out to them because she was afraid that she'd get arrested for possession of marijuana, which was illegal at the time.
Sounds real Men in Blackish to
Yeah,
me.
it sounds pretty.
Sounds
whack.
pretty far-fetched if you ask
Pretty
me.
whack.
No, but the babushka lady. Shout out to you, babushka lady. I know she's got to be gone by now, given how
I
old
have
she
no
was and how
idea.
long ago. There's no way. But yeah, so I mean, the 3rd bullet and the magic bullet and the 1st bullet and the bullet that exploded his head. I don't know. There's a lot of bullets going on. I can't keep track of them all. All right, this is the part where Hayden gets loud again. But this time, he can't yell at me because we're not in the car again. This is the final conspiracy theory of the episode, and we saved it for last because it's the one I'm most passionate about, and here's why.
It's a mix of. It's somewhat 2 conspiracy.
It's a two-parter.
theories.
It's a two-parter, and we're gonna get into the shorter part first. Makes sense. So when we're talking about conspiracy, when we were discussing doing the 3rd episode on conspiracy theories, and we're discussing which conspiracy theories to go into, he mentions
Tupac.
Tupac not really being
Immediately.
dead. Immediately, of course I knew what he was talking about, but immediately it reminded me of a conspiracy theory rabbit hole that I dove into back in middle school. So we're talking at least 10 plus years ago, which is Elvis Presley not really being dead. Now, hold on people, hold on. Chill out. I don't know about you, I'm not going to speak for him, I'll let him speak his piece after this. Before we get into the conspiracy theory of it all, on the record, I believe Tupac Shakur and Elvis Aaron Presley died on the dates that the media said they died. I believe that fully. I believe that there was no faking of any deaths. That's what I believe.
I don't know as much about the Elvis one. I haven't really looked as much into that as you have. I think there is a chance. Obviously, I believe. Okay.
I'm open to the possibility that
yeah,
Tupac faked his death
I
and is
believe
still alive
that
in
Tupac
Cuba.
could be alive and in Cuba. From everything that I've seen, read, everything that I've heard, I think that there's a very good possibility that he's alive somewhere.
Most likely
Possibly
Cuba.
in Cuba.
Most likely
There's
Cuba.
A lot of theories surrounding why he would be there.
I mean, at this point, he would be in his 50s, I believe. So,
Somewhat close to that. At least.
yeah, so he would, it's possible that since he allegedly faked his death, if that's the case, since then, he could have left Cuba and gone elsewhere. I mean, South America is a big place, and after a while, it doesn't really fucking matter. Explore. I mean, listen, he could have literally pulled a Shawshank Redemption, and I'm not talking about the breaking out of jail part. I'm talking about the end when Andy Dufresne has Morgan Freeman come and meet him on that beach in Mexico, and there's just a boat, and he's just sanding it, having a grand old time. I think that's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah, that's
just
a great
saying.
movie.
But like, I really think that like it's when I envision the possibility of Tupac faking his death and still being alive, that is what I picture. I picture the end credits of Shawshank Redemption, Tupac and his aunt in South America.
That's what I was talking about, that theory of why he would be there. Supposedly, well, not supposedly, his aunt was wanted for a murder. She was serving a life sentence where she escaped. And
From where?
prison.
Okay.
She escaped from prison, I believe, from what I read. And she went to Cuba where she was granted political asylum, and it's documented, she's documented there. So I believe that Tupac went there and she took care of him because I believe he did get shot and he was wounded.
That I agree right there.
100%. I
That
believe
happened.
I believe he was.
He got shot.
He was close to death. He got shot. But how famous he was and how rich he was, he could have easily had the money to set something up where, if something were to happen, he had something on standby where he could get out of there. He had medical attention waiting for him. That's what I believe. And if you read what one of the cops said, he said he was in on it and he helped him escape. I read something right before this. He said it was basically because his family was connected to the Black Panther Party and stuff like that, and the Black Panther Party had supposedly heard that there was a hit out on Tupac and they wanted to get him to safety. So they allegedly had him go to Cuba.
See, that I don't have a hard time buying that part, but the part I have a hard time believing is this cop story that says he helped him, because, and here's the thing, even if it was true, even if he did, even if this cop is telling it was a cop, right? Even if this cop is telling the truth, it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe even if he's telling the truth. You're just not going to believe it. It's like
the autopsy too.
Okay.
And
I feel like autopsy pictures of Tupac.
There's a lot of conspiracy.
And they say
around
the tattoos don't match up, but it doesn't look off to me.
But then again,
he's cut open,
yeah,
so they're obviously not going to be in the same placement. But they don't look.
Dead, his skin ain't going to be the same color.
Correct.
When I saw almost decaying, not decaying. But
no, yeah, right. But not to even take it there and get it to a depressed level. But when my uncle passed away a little over 10 years ago, like at his viewing, like he really didn't look the same, but he looked the same. Like it looked like him, but like he looked different. Like
he colors off a little bit,
and he's
go a little pale.
But anyway, aside from that, like I didn't see anything off with the
a lot of people
with the autopsy photos that I saw of Tupac. But that was who am I to say?
Suge Knight also, not everyone, but I'm sure
Suge Knight
not that he
involved
has a
in the shooting.
Credibility,
like we already agreed the shooting was real.
Yeah.
I think we can agree Suge Knight was involved in the shooting, setting it up.
I don't know. Yeah, I could see that. Because didn't Tupac want to go on his own?
And I see some report. Now listen, disclaimer, I do not know the whole legitimacy of this claim or report. Not claiming this to be 100% factually true. I'm admitting that it may be false. But I saw this report that Suge was claiming he got shot in the neck, and the doctors were saying it was a piece of glass in his neck on some Megan Thee Stallion type shit. Now, again, I don't want to be talking shit if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard.
You see,
I may be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, but that's what I heard.
The story of the cop that was on the scene, though, where he said Suge was bleeding
100%.
from his head.
Right.
He had blood.
No, he got grazed in the head.
Out
yes,
his head.
he did. He did get grazed in the head, I believe.
And this dude didn't even think about it. He was just screaming at the cop. He has blood gushing out his head, and he's like, "Get him help! Get him help!"
Bro, Suge's a bro.
That's
don't
crazy.
Stop it. Don't tell me that's it. Don't tell me you're using that as an excuse to say Suge didn't do it.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it's
bro,
crazy how he didn't
actor.
even like.
Suge could act.
He got shot in the head, and he didn't even react.
Oh, he's a big dude.
He got shot. A bullet hits you in the head, you're gonna feel it, no?
Yeah, because I'm a little bitch.
I mean, I guess adrenaline too. Adrenaline gets.
But yeah, if I get shot in the head,
too.
I'm probably not gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna react. I hope I don't ever get shot in the head.
Just that I think that he could be alive. That's
I am
all.
open to the possibility, but in my heart of
alive.
hearts, I'm saying he's dead until proven otherwise. But I'm open to the possibility that he's alive. I see it. I'm not gonna be like I see it. Next, though, is the Elvis Presley. Now, let me just tell you, this thing goes deep, and I do not buy any of it. But I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, you was talking about this earlier. It got kind of crazy.
It gets deep. All right. Earlier in the episode and throughout, I try to cite myself on the sources. I did a lot of research on this one. I can't cite all the sources. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Sue me if you want. This isn't monetized anyway. I'm not making money off of it. I mean, I can really buy into this whole Tupac shit. I can. But I just can't. I can't get into the here's the thing. I can get into the Elvis one, but I can't believe it because it doesn't add up to me. Like, what adds up more is that he passed, but I'll get more onto why I believe he passed after. So, let's just get right into the meat and bones of, like, the theory. So, the theory gets so deep to this, is that he had basically been running, not had been, but was running from the mafia, the mob. He had a hit out on him for being an informant. Again, I'm getting my information from online sources, so I cannot prove the legitimacy of any of the stuff that I'm saying.
It's got to be real, right?
It's got to be true if it's from the internet.
Right.
The internet told me so. No, so again, Elvis was selling a plane. He had a bunch of planes. He's a rich-ass motherfucker because he's the king of the world at that point. And so he was selling one of his planes, and this company roped him into this deal somehow. Not him directly. I'm sure he had a businessman making that decision for him on his behalf, but roped them into this leasing deal for something, and ended up getting mad money. He just swindled mad money out of him and kept siphoning out money. Elvis is the one selling the plane. He is the victim of this crime. He is the target of this organized crime syndicate that has alleged ties to the Italian mafia. There is an investigation going on what's going on, because some may write. So around the time that whoever, the FBI, whatever, whenever they finally built their case up to where they were ready to attack, and they caught this group, what was around the time that Elvis died. So that theory is that he got moved into WITSEC so that he could escape
something about that today, yeah.
So that he could escape the mafia. However, the FBI has since said, in response to this theory, that Elvis Presley had no idea of any investigation going on whatsoever. His only involvement in the entire situation at all was being the victim and target of this group, because he was a rich man who was selling a fucking private jet, and they targeted him and they got him. They beat him. So that's what the FBI said. But it gets deeper than that. Of course it does, because why wouldn't it get deeper than that?
Yeah.
Now, you may be asking yourself, why would people make the assumption that Elvis Presley, the guy gyrating his hips on stage, getting cut off at the waist on TV because his moves were too provocative for the time, why would he, this little lover boy with the cute face, be involved with the FBI and be an informant for the FBI? Well, he was a collector of badges. Elvis liked to collect badges, police badges, stuff like that, like law enforcement badges. He tried to get a badge from a police officer in every city he went in when he toured and stuff. And he was just fascinated by this stuff. He even wrote a letter to a president, who I am blanking on at the moment. I'm going to put it right here. He wrote a letter to him asking to be some honorary title. So the president invited him in for an interview, and just kind of like a thing to talk, like a little press thing. And they talked. And the president gave him this honorary title, which held no authority whatsoever. It was just a fun little, hey, here you go. But it just goes to show that he had that. Well, I shouldn't say it goes to show, but people use that fascination of his to fuel this theory. What are your thoughts on that specific theory right there before I get into the other angle?
I mean, I think it's possible that he could have been an informant. I mean, crazy things have happened, I guess, but
I just don't see it.
I really don't.
And I know he was in the military, so we know he was a good person. And I don't mean this. Well, all right. Controversies aside, I know there's a lot. All right, listen. Good enough morals if he's a this to that. I'm not saying anything about those allegations, and I'm not getting into the controversies about Elvis Presley, but to jump from being in the military to someone who's an FBI informant isn't a crazy jump, especially given that fascination of his. I'm not denying that, but I just don't. I can't buy into it. I can't see it as reality.
I mean, but I did read something about that where it's like, So like they did talk to him. They did help him with that when he was getting.
Oh yeah, the president got him a badge. When he went, he asked for a specific badge.
FBI.
What?
They did help him when he was getting. What?
What?
I'm blanking right now.
I'm just asking if you agree with the theory or not.
No, I know. I'm just giving my opinion, but like,
Oh, okay.
I was trying to remember one of the parts of the story when you said the only time that they were in contact with Elvis was when they held him out with that. People were like embezzling money from him. That's how he would be connected with the FBI, though, right? How they're saying he's connected with the FBI, not that he's an informant.
Yes. All right. So, but all right. So, hang on. I just think that here's why I believe he died. On the day the media said he died, because as legendary as Elvis Presley was, as amazing as his voice was, as amazing as his music was, he was not what you would call a healthy man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you look at like the diet and like what everyone who was famous, most of them who was famous, was doing at the time, all the drugs and fucking.
Well, that's the thing though, because he had a prescription, because he had a doctor, and the doctor was giving him. He was taking packets of like 8 pills, like multiple times a day. Different pills, like a cocktail of pills.
Too. You gotta think.
And eating a horrible diet. I mean, his signature favorite sandwich that he claims to have invented, and I'm not taking that away from him, I don't dispute it, I would say he invented it. Peanut butter, banana, and bacon on white bread. Doesn't sound bad to me. I mean, I think I've definitely had peanut butter and banana. I'm not against putting bacon on it.
Yeah.
Maybe toasting it.
Yeah.
Like a grilled cheese.
I like bacon.
Anyway, what I'm saying is Elvis wasn't a very healthy man, and he had prior to his death, he had high blood pressure. He had, I believe, diabetes. He had all these problems. And what was his cause of death? Heart attack. While he was allegedly straining, and he passed away.
Up. If you look at like actual facts, it adds up. Where his diet was terrible. He had other health
heart
issues.
Problems, high blood pressure.
He didn't take care of himself with like all the drugs and the drinking that he did, and you gotta think like traveling and stuff. And
the insomnia. Don't forget the insomnia.
He partied a lot.
But he also suffered a lot.
Exactly.
I mean, being in that business at that time, it was taxing on a person's mental state. I mean, it happened to like a lot of them. It happened to Elton John. And you see how Elton John, like, he turned his life around, and Elton John is a great musician, and he was never really a bad person. He just had a issue with substances, and then he was able to overcome it.
John did Eminem too. Fuck.
Exactly, he helped Eminem overcome his substances, and that's another thing. If you listen to Eminem's music, okay, cut officially into, not really cut, but cut, we're officially into Off the Rails now. When you look at Eminem, he if you listen to all of Eminem's music, even the craziest shit he be saying, he's not a bad person in his music. He's never saying nothing bad.
Well,
he just uses vulgar language.
He said he's gonna violate
kill his mom,
people, yeah,
do all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, when he talks about that stuff, you can every single time. He has such a way of doing it that he's not seriously threatening to murder these people, and that's why it's like it's like in 12 Angry Men when it's towards the end when he's like, oh well, he heard the boy say he'd kill him, and then he died, and he's like, well, and then he gets him all mad, and the guy's like, well, I'll kill you, and he looks at him, he's like, well, you don't really mean you'll kill me, right? And he's like, damn. It's like one of them moments.
We was talking about
Eminem. By the time I got to the end of that sentence, I had no idea what I was talking about, bro. I forgot completely what we were talking about. It's like, shit, how do I reel this back in when I don't
I keep zoning out, like, fuck, I'm high. Yeah, it is not a good time to be a Red Sox fan, at all.
Kinda pissed you brought it up. Listen, we brought it up last week. Like I said last week, I am not a bandwagon fan. Win, lose, no matter what time of the season, I am a Red Sox fan. It don't matter if it's the playoffs or not. It is not, in fact, the playoffs, is it?
No.
Okay, then. And I am still a Red Sox fan. And we did not win, did we? I'm going to say we did not win.
Smoked.
But I am still a Red Sox fan. I am mad because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be mad. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Really, I feel like Kevin's dad from Home Alone. Like, dude, really? I'm not talking about when he gets left. I'm talking about the night before they leave. When he's like, yo, Kevin, what the fuck, bro?
They let up the most runs in a game in their franchise's history. It was the
Inside
most
the park grand slam. Listen, I hit 2 of those in my little league career.
That's not supposed
That shouldn't
to happen in the majors.
It's not supposed to happen in the majors.
Up for the 3rd time. Sends a drive to deep center, but where is it? It's way over the head of Duran, who never saw it. He never saw it. Tapia around 3rd, heading home.
I hate to say this, but like that guy gotta go. I feel like I hate to I don't like, obviously it's not in my hands. I don't want to like put someone's career and livelihood on the line. Like they'll just put it like play with it like that. But like I feel like he gotta go.
I understand losing the ball, but then when you find it, I don't care. You run after.
You run after that.
That's wild.
What did Adam Sandler say in Billy Madison? He's like, you get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog.
That little boy's got to think you got a pet. You got a responsibility. If your dog is lost, you don't look for an hour and then call it quits. You get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog.
You go get that ball.
Yeah, it's wild.
You may not have seen it, but you seen it once it hit the ground, and you just stood there like.
He just watched on that field there sprint his ass off.
You were
the
closer.
ball. I think it was Verdugo.
Even though he was running in,
that's wild.
You still would have got there quicker. Even though you saw him running in, you got to make the effort too. It's a race to that ball. You're racing each other. Who cares? That's our teammate. You're racing to that ball to see who can get there quicker to throw it into your teammate at the cutoff.
Crazy.
It don't matter.
And at the same time as them letting up the most runs in franchise history, that was the most runs the Blue Jays have ever scored in a game in franchise history. Double whammy. Fucking crazy.
So Big Papi's at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was nuts. You see his speech?
No.
His speech is pretty good.
I saw a couple quotes from it, but
Yeah,
I did
his
not
speech is
listen to
pretty
it.
good.
I saw the plaque. I thought it looked decent.
Yeah, sometimes they botch those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a photorealistic bust of David Ortiz on the plaque, but it's
Close enough.
it looks good. It looks more or less like a cartoonized version of him.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You see the
Challenge anyone to do better.
You see the jersey that he got? Those things are so nice.
Oh, of course
The
they
Hall
are.
of Fame
Gold
jersey.
jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit? I swear to God, before the time of the internet and memes, before we had Facebook, before we had Twitter, before we had MySpace, the way we used to get our like giggles out, the way we used to entertain each other, we didn't send each other memes, we didn't show each other memes. We used to just quote Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah, just random movies in general. Not
Like
even just Adam Sandler.
mostly Adam Sandler movies where I came from. Obviously,
Will Ferrell.
we haven't really gotten into it. Yep, Will Ferrell. We didn't grow up together. We met in college. I grew up in Southie.
Braintree.
All my circles that I grew up in, like Adam Sandler and Will Ferrell, like he said. Thanks for reminding me. But just
A whole bunch.
any of those movies, and like the classics too, like Superbad, stuff like that,
Yeah.
where it's like one-off classics, where it's not necessarily like, but like Adam Sandler, like, is just the one that comes to mind because you've got Big Daddy, which was my mom tells me was my favorite movie as a kid. You've got Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, 50 First Dates,
Little Nicky.
Little Nicky. You've got Anger Management. You've got
You see
Wedding
Mr.
Singer.
Deeds?
You've got Mr. Deeds. What else? The Water Boy.
Both the grown-ups movies.
Both the
A little
grown-ups
different,
movies.
but He's gotten some new ones that are different though. They're pretty good. You
Dude.
watch his new one, Hustle?
I haven't seen Hustle yet, but I
So
saw
good, I saw
Uncut Gems was unreal.
I haven't
But I
seen the
also
whole
love
thing
the
yet.
I also love the little like they're like mixes between buddy comedies and rom-coms. I don't know how to explain it. They're really good though. They're on Netflix mostly. But he has that one with David Spade. It's called The Do-Over. It also, which reminds me that David Spade has that movie, The Wrong Missy. That movie's hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No.
You gotta watch it. It's so funny.
Watch anything new recently? New shows, new movies, anything?
I did watch a new movie recently, and I can't even say it's new.
I was gonna say.
I gotta
new
look it
or
up real
old,
quick.
But never seen it.
Right, it's old, but I've never seen it. Okay, this movie came out in 2007. I've never seen it before. Recently, for those of you who don't know, my daughter was born. My second daughter was just born.
My goddaughter.
His goddaughter, he's the godfather over here. Over the last couple of weeks, there was a couple of nights where I took her out to the living room and stayed out there all night with her to let her mother get some sleep. So scrolling through all these streaming services trying to find a movie. I'm on Netflix and I find this movie starring Sandra Bullock, someone who I'm a huge fan of. I like a lot of her movies, The Blind Side, The Heat, just a lot. It's called, there was this movie called Premonition. Have you ever heard of it?
Nah.
It came out in 2007, and I read the little description, and it sounded good to me. And, I don't really want to, spoil it, but I'm going to give the basic rundown that they give. That would be the trailer, that would be the synopsis. She lives a normal life. She gets married. She has 2 kids, 2 girls. They're a few years apart. So she's married, has the kids, does a normal thing. One day she drops the kids off at school. In the morning, her husband's off at work doing whatever. Then she gets a knock at the door when she's back home. Opens it, it's the police. They tell her that her husband's been in a car accident. Get this, he died instantly, right? So here's the thing. She breaks down, but now she has to go tell her mother. And she tells her mother consoles her. She tells her best friend. She goes to the school when the school's over. She gets the kids. She has to tell the kids are crying. Kids are crying that their dad's dead. Dad's dead, they go to bed. They wake up, she wakes up in the next morning. The dad's not dead, he's in the fucking kitchen making breakfast, yo. I can't make this shit up. If you don't sound like that's interesting to you, come on, man. I know I'm high, but come on. This movie gets crazy.
What?
That's the synopsis version. That's the no spoilers version. Think of every question you have and think of how they definitely explain it in the movie. I promise you, every question you may have from that synopsis, they answer it in the movie. And more questions they create through the beginning third of the movie, the first act. They create more questions and they answer those by the end. I'm telling you, it's a good movie, but that's all I got to say for this week's episode. What do you have to add? You seen anything new?
I was good.
Yo, I got a question. You think if I took a can of Coke, right? Opened it, took a sip, and then dropped in a little vanilla extract, you think that would make a vanilla Coke? Or is that not how that works?
I think you got a little work to go there. I don't know.
Because I can bypass the whole Coca-Cola secret recipe thing by just using Coke as my first ingredient. Then I just have to figure out the vanilla flavor part. You feel me? Tell me that doesn't make sense.
I guess so.
Because if I use Coke as my main ingredient, then I don't have to figure out the Coke recipe. I just have to figure out how to make vanilla Coke. Because vanilla Coke is the only flavored Coke I like. I don't like the cherry. I don't like the zero. I don't like diet.
Yeah, so I don't give a fuck.
I am because throughout my whole childhood, I didn't get to drink any. My dad was very hardcore. See, my mom and my dad, I'm a bastard child, so they raised me separately, but they were both always in my life. And my mom kind of just went with my dad's wishes that I could only drink, milk and water. Even my grandmother had to yell at my dad once because I was at, this birthday party when I was, 6, I guess. Not my birthday party, but somebody else's. And all the kids were running around, eating candy, eating snacks, drinking soda. And my dad wouldn't let me have no snacks, and I could only drink water. So my grandmother yelled at him and made him let me have all the stuff the kids were having. So now I drink all the soda I want because I'm a grown-ass fucking man. But I don't shame you for not being a soda drinker. I get it. I completely get not liking it because, it's very sweet. It's very sugary. You gotta brush your teeth, a couple times a day when you drink soda because
you should
it's...
brush your teeth anyway.
No, I'm saying, you should brush your teeth, an extra time if you are a soda drinker, I would suggest. Always in the morning and at night, but, also maybe do, once or twice in the middle of the day if you're a soda drinker. That's not a requirement, but it helps. Who gives a fuck? You're gonna die anyway. Rot your teeth out. Who gives a shit? I don't. I really don't. I have really good teeth at the moment, but... I've always fairly had good teeth. It's just that they were crooked as shit before.
I just got a little chip in mine.
A little chip in the tooth, eh?
Alright, we're going to head out.
Say hi to your mother for me.
Say you want smoke, you can drop the address. I'm a stone cold killer, I'm Medusa on my chest. 50 cal deagle bullet shooting through the vest. Hope the morgue got a mop, cause I'm finna leave a mess.